to the F3 podcast where we discuss all things that pertain to faith, family, and finance. We are your host today. I am Dr. Lionel M. Blair Sr., and I'm sitting next to the glorious, the wonderful, the delicious.
Oh, goodness.
My wonderful wife, she is the sainted mother herself. She is Saint Jasmine the First, Dr. Jasmine Blair. We got a good one for you today. And remember, no subject is off limits.
Welcome, everybody, to the F3 podcast. Shout out to all of our first time viewers and long time viewers. It's so good to see everybody. Thank you
Yes.
for joining us. Listen, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time we drop a new episode. And you can take us with you on the go, and you can find us where your favorite podcasts are streamed. Listen, check out the links in the show notes in the description box so you can stay in touch with us. Follow us over on IG at King and Queen Blair. And definitely, you can suggest a topic. You can suggest a topic. You can talk about some things because we'll talk about what your pastor wants. So don't hesitate. You can click the link and you can drop us a voicemail if you don't want nobody to know it's you. Or if you don't care, you can drop it down in the comment section. We definitely want to hear from you. So, all right, now this one we got a good one today. I mean, it's always a good one,
Yep.
but this one is a little bit personal
Yeah.
because I have seen some people. We got to stop telling this lie in the body of Christ that family is first.
Hmm.
We got to stop telling this lie that family is first. And see, the reason why we tell this lie is so when Mama call and Pookie call and Billy call and JoJo call. Oh, well, we understand. No, 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 no.
Hmm.
We got to talk about this because, see, some of y'all, before you gave your life to Christ, Mama Pookie and them and JoJo and them gave you a hard time. They was part of the reason you was almost on your way to hell, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah.
Mama Pookie and JoJo was getting on your
Oh,
nerves. Mama Pookie and JoJo didn't want to see you serving God. Mama Pookie and JoJo got an attitude and thought you was better than everybody when you decided you wanted to start going to church. And so then as you start getting on track with your relationship with God, you feel more of a loyalty to Mama Pookie and JoJo than you do to the assignment that God is trying to develop you for. So we're going to talk about that today.
yeah. Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about, remember that lady, it was a long time ago. Remember that lady you prophesied to when we was in the subway? And you prophesied that she needed to answer her call, and she's like, yeah, but I got kids and I'm in school, and she had all this stuff on her
Hmm.
plate to where she couldn't answer her call. And to make a long story short, this started as a prophecy, but it ended up being like a whole hour conversation, in the subway. And mostly her children and her other family members were the reason why she was not going forward towards the destiny that God placed on her life. Why do you think people do this?
I think we are trained to be loyal to family in an unhealthy way.
Mm,
I think we have this unhealthy way of being brought up to where
mm,
it's family over everything. You drop everything for family, you do anything for family. But, we have counseled a plethora of people from all walks of life.
mm-hmm,
And we have seen in most cases, hear me, most cases where um this has negatively affected an individual.
yes,
You
come
know,
on.
I've seen loyalty to family cause people to remain in poverty. I've
Uh-oh.
seen loyalty to family cause people to remain in dysfunctional relationships.
Mm,
I've seen loyalty to family tear up churches and ministries.
come on.
Ask me how I know. So I'm telling you,
Mm-mm.
I've seen loyalty to family. First of all, like I've seen loyalty to family to where you come running for people that wouldn't even walk across the street for you. I've seen loyalty to
Mm.
family to where you barely even know people. I barely know you.
I
I
done
barely
seen
see
you.
you. I see you. I see you probably about once or twice a year, if that. I know. Well. I'm just giving an average number because I know for me, I ain't seen my relatives in so long. You understand what I'm saying? And they don't care to know what I'm doing either. And that really don't bother me.
That part.
You understand what I'm saying? But I've seen people be loyal to family even though their mama or their dad is a bona fide cult leader.
Mm,
Bona fide. When I say bona fide, I mean bona fide. A bona fide
mm,
cult leader have destroyed lives, destroyed families, destroyed relationships, caused people to leave the church. But that's my mama.
mm.
That's my daddy. Are you kidding me? Listen, as much as I love my mama, let my mama be. If my mama was a cult leader, like what I experienced, I would disown my mother and cut her off.
Now, see, we're gonna come back to that part
You
because a
understand?
lot of people saying, "Well, that ain't me, my mama." We're gonna start with the quote unquote normal people whose relatives are not in ministry and then they're not trying to be in ministry.
Hmm.
Listen, you cannot spend more. Nobody's saying you can't love people, and see, this is the thing. Nobody's saying you can't love them. Nobody's saying you can't care about them.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying you cannot show up for them. But when loving them and being there for them and showing up to them becomes toxic
Hmm.
to your growth and to your development, you've got to make a conscious decision.
Yeah, you
If
do.
they need something every time you going to a conference to better yourself, every time you are going to some kind of ministry training or development, that is a red flag. Every time you have something to do ministry wise, all of a sudden they need you, they're calling on you, they're asking about you. Well, can you just do this? Can you just do that? That is a problem. It is a problem.
Hmm.
They are causing hardship, causing difficulty. You really need to assess. You're really going to have to assess what's going on and make a conscious decision and a conscious determination that you're going to do better.
They keep stealing from you, but that's my brother, and you keep letting them in your house. You know
Put
he
them
a
out.
doggone thief. You know he a
Mm-mm.
thief. You keep that, but that's my son. Listen, no, no, like there's nowhere in the Bible that says you have to
Mm-mm.
open up your space like that for someone who keeps doing the same thing against you.
That part.
Forgiveness does not mean you have the same level of access you had before.
Yes.
And listen, we speak from experience because a lot of people we counsel, their family be a lot of the cause of their problems.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, okay, but they're still my family. What is that? I don't understand that logic. Maybe because I was rejected by my
Right.
family. But see, that opened my eyes though. You see what I'm saying? I'm not mad.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying, at any of my family members. It just opened my eyes to show me that family is not everything.
Yeah.
We think family is everything. I'm talking about natural blood.
Yeah.
I found more love, acceptance, patience, development, help, and all that stuff outside of my natural family. You see what I'm saying? My natural family was the one that talked junk about me, spread lies and gossip about me. Some of them still do.
Mm.
Um, uh, 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 Try to either try to tear up my ministry or speak against my ministry, whatever
Mm.
the case may be. You know, conspire behind my back and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced a lot of that from family.
Now, I want to read something that's interesting because one of the reasons why we hold on to family as a society because we have bought in the lie that blood is thicker than water.
Uh
You
oh.
know, we've all heard that saying. We've all discussed it. Well, that's why that's my mama. That's what they blood. I mean, blood is thicker than water. But
Some people gonna choke on their blood.
what if I told y'all that that's not the full saying?
Uh oh.
So this is another old adage. See, this is why I don't repeat stuff without actually studying it and knowing where it comes from. So blood is thicker than water is the reason why we hold on to toxic Mama Pookie and JoJo and Aunt so and so and cousin so and so, because we have bought the lie. And I don't know who started the bad version of it, that blood is thicker than water. What most of us understand it to mean, well, our relationships with family should be tighter than relationships with those that aren't related to us.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm on anythinklibraries.org, anythink, THINK, libraries.org. And this was an article submitted by Santana McDriguez. And so we say blood is thicker than water, but the original quote is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb.
Mm.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
The saying means that chosen bonds are more significant than the bonds with family or the water of the womb. More directly, it means that the relationships you make yourself are far more important than the ones you don't choose.
Mm.
Oh, now this rips a whole lot in half of what most of us was taught. And I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't somebody's toxic mama cousin Pookie or brother Jojo that originally twisted that.
Right.
No, the bonds you form and you choose are far more important. You didn't get to choose your relatives. So whether they was toxic or not, you did not get to choose to share DNA with them. Now, yes, you can have relatives that you have healthy relationships with. And I think to me, those are some of the best, and those are even more special because you didn't get to choose them, but y'all shared DNA as well as a chosen bond and a chosen relationship.
Right.
And when that's able to happen, that becomes an amazing, beautiful thing. But somebody being related to you and y'all sharing DNA does not exempt you from being able to choose them.
Right.
You still have a choice of whether or not you want a relationship. Well, that's my mom and daddy. After you're grown, you have a choice of whether or not you get to choose to maintain a bond with them.
Yeah.
That's your grandmother. You get to choose whether or not you have a bond and a relationship with them. You do not have to keep unchosen default people in your life if you don't want to.
For real.
Because if choosing them is coming against your relationship with God, it's causing strife with your family, it's causing strife with your marriage, and your kids don't want to be around. You get to choose to opt out of a bond with somebody you are biologically related to.
Yeah. And I've seen situations where like you're expected to look out for relatives and family members that you barely even know.
Mm,
So you're supposed to prioritize them because they're family, but I barely know you.
mm,
People you barely know a person,
right,
and you're supposed to be loyal to them, look out for them, and do all this other stuff, and you don't know them from a can of paint.
right.
Y'all cousins or that's your uncle or whatever the case may be, and you ain't seen them in God knows how long.
Don't even remember what they look like. Now,
Or even if you do, or you might see them at a family reunion or something, or whatever the case may be. What's the point of having a family reunion when you're not close to the family?
don't nobody know everybody. Everybody getting to know everybody. That's why it's so long. Okay, who challenged you again?
Or everybody want to catch up and see how you doing. You would know if you was involved.
Oh, that's nothing more than a pee contest.
Yeah,
So where you work, what you do, is you
yeah.
married, how many kids you got, what you, all that is a pee contest.
And then them jokers think that because they family, they have a right to have an opinion. No, you and your opinion can go to hell. I ain't seen you since I don't. I remember one lady had the nerve to try to check me about my political post, right? Because she all pro black and she's a Blair, but she pro black and had the mitigated gall to try to check me, and then talking about we are Blairs. We don't you a Blair. You don't vote like that. You don't speak like that. You don't do like that. And I almost told this. First of all, I said I'm like I barely know you.
Crazy. Isn't that crazy,
You know,
y'all?
last time I seen you, I was a little itty bitty little boy. I was an itty bitty little boy. Like, who are you? Who do you think you are, a lady? I barely know you. I don't care if we are cousins. Like,
Mm,
like, like, like,
y'all.
like, go sit that mess down. So, I've had several cousins felt like they had the right to have an opinion about how I choose to do things and live my life and all this other stuff because and then when she jump up there and be like, okay, like and start checking him, what's the first thing they say? I'm his cousin. I'm his
Mm-hmm.
this. Who cares? Being my cousin, being my blood relative, it don't matter.
No.
It don't matter because you're not significant to my growth. You're not significant to my walk. And I'm speaking for a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people, not just talking about just me. I'm speaking for a lot of people. You're not significant to my growth. Okay, you didn't help me get to where I am today. All y'all had was a bunch of opinions and a
Uh-oh.
bunch of gossips about stuff that I did way back in my past. Okay, or a bunch of exaggerations or whatever the case may be. You
And
understand what I'm saying?
honestly, if I ain't met you, you don't know nothing relevant.
No, you don't. And even if they did meet you, they still don't know nothing because most of my relatives don't even know where I live, and they ain't gonna know why. Why you're not in my life? Why would I bring you over? You understand what I'm saying? But see, y'all have been convinced
And told
that
y'all that lie, that blood is thicker than
blood
water.
is thicker than water.
And we just seen that ain't the quote. That ain't what it mean.
That quote right there that's a whole teaching by itself.
Mm,
That's a whole
mm-mm.
teaching by itself because see, a lot of y'all are locked down in toxic relationships, toxic bloodlines, and all this other stuff. You know, and some of you need to get free from family.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we have counseled I don't know how many people, relatives done ran up the credit, relatives relatives done split up they relationships.
Split
Mom
up
and
their marriage, some of them.
Yeah, split up their marriage. Mom and daddy cult leaders. Relatives keep borrowing money and taking money, and relatives and stole and
Borrowing kid,
you know
getting people's kids and dropping them off and expecting people to watch them. And
right. And we ain't gonna get into sexual assault. We're not even gonna get into that. Okay, because for
yeah, this
some
ain't the platform for
for
that.
yeah, cause some reason y'all just think that people can do any and everything to you, but because they family, you just got no. I don't care if it's your mama. No, you understand what I'm saying? But y'all have this unhealthy loyalty to family, and these people are the least contributors to your life. But that's family, that's blood. You supposed to always look out for blood. Really?
No, says who? Where did y'all get that from? This quote.
Yeah.
That's where they got that from. This quote.
Yeah,
The
that's
bonds you
dumb.
choose are more important. Now, let me re-emphasize for the person that's mad and missed it. You can choose to form bonds with your blood relatives. That's a beautiful thing. That's a great thing. But you don't have to by default choose somebody because y'all share DNA.
Hmm.
You just don't. You really, really don't. And it becomes an issue when we drag sorry people along in our lives, lazy people in our lives, destructive people, dysfunctional people, for the sake of, well, that's my cousin. Well, that's this, that, and the third. I remember hearing a story one time of a woman, and she was a manager at a store. She had came in and started from the bottom. Now she there and worked her way up to become the store manager. And lo and behold, there was an altercation, and somebody called her from the front, from the back, because her blood relative was in an altercation with somebody in the front.
Mm.
And there was, well, we didn't want to call the cops on the person because it's your relative. She said, no, call them.
Right.
Call them. This is a store. This is a place of business. You can't be in here causing an altercation. Call the police. And got mad at her, cussed her out. Why you call the police on me? Blah, blah, blah. We supposed to be family. You are in if you are in any other store, any other mall, any other place of business or facility, and you're causing a physical altercation, they're going to call the police. Why do you think I'm not going? You purposely cause an altercation here at my job, mind you, because you think I'm not going to call the police? So, needless to say, they had a falling out. Relatives stopped talking to them. See, this is the kind of dysfunctional stuff we allow. And then some of y'all pastors, well, that's your family. You got to pray. Yes, pray for them, but you do not have to accept relationship with somebody that's going to risk your job by where you have worked hard to work your way up because they want to be ignorant in public.
Yeah.
Of all the stores, they chose the store that you own to come in there and be a plum fool and think you're not going to call the cops, or think any other management is not going to call the cops.
If they really cared about family, then they would have respected the fact that that's the store that they worked at or the store that they owned.
Exactly. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I know I got family that work here. I don't want anybody to think they somehow involved and risk their job. Then they can't pay their bills. They can't feed their kids. They can't do for their family. Mm-hmm. Toxic.
Yeah.
So now we want to switch over back to where you was talking about earlier, the people that have family that are cult leaders.
Oh God.
And they support that you see the hurt and the pain and the damage that they cause to people.
You still talk to them.
How long are you going to stay connected to that?
Yeah. Because
while they're actively ruining lives.
Right. But that's still my mama. That's still my daddy. Who cares at this point? Because your mama, your daddy is ruining lives. How can you morally sit back and watch them ruin people's lives? And number one, not say nothing. Number two, continue to support them, endorse them, talk to them, and all of that other stuff. Some of y'all gonna go to hell behind loyalty to your family. I said it. That's right. I said it. I've seen people do this, but see, we have been trained to where, like, if it's family, we have to have loyalty to family. But see, if my loyalty to you is causing me not to be true to who I am or not to be true to my faith, then guess what? I can't choose you. Mm-hmm. I can't choose you because what if the path that I'm going down is, hey, I choose the path that leads to eternal life, and you choose the path that leads to eternal death. In eternity, I ain't gonna know you because you ain't gonna be there. You ain't gonna be there, and that's just the truth of the matter. So, but even outside of that, why would I help you? Mm-hmm. Why would I endorse you? Why would I let you? You're a cult leader. You're toxic. Why would I let you come see my kids? Well, I ain't gonna treat the kids no kind of way. No. If you are a cult
if you
leader,
can't treat an adult right, people. You can't treat a child right.
Right. So if you're bad for people, you're bad for my children.
That's it.
If you're not a good example to other people, you're not a good example to my children. So if your mama, daddy is a bona fide cult leader, you need to cut your mom and daddy loose. For real. For real. For real. Well, that's my mom and my dad. People want to say honor your mother and father. Honor means to speak well of. It don't mean to prioritize.
That's right.
That means I'm not going to go out here and just try to purposely damage your reputation, but I'm not going to support you either. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to support you either. And see, honestly, some people, y'all need to stand up against your peoples. You won't stand up against your peoples? Are you kidding me? What kind of witchcraft they got on you to where you can't stand against them? I've seen this.
Are you worried about them telling your dirt? Listen, you got to be okay with them telling whatever business they think they know of yours and move on.
Baby,
because the only reason they're going to know your business is if you tell it or if you post it.
I'm the type of person. Listen, you. That first of all, there ain't nothing that you can tell that I have not already tell. I tell it better than you. I tell it better than you. And if what you telling is a lie, I'll correct the lie. Okay, I'll correct the lie. I tell it better than you. Okay.
I'm not correcting nothing. I'm not cleaning nothing up. I'm not verifying. I'm not confirming. I'm not even denying. And that I don't care. If that's what you okay, well, I want to know. I want to hear from you. No, if you sat there and listened to all of that, that tells me all I need to know about you in the first place. Because if you're really for me, you don't need to hear from me. Why didn't you cut it off and stop them mid sentence and correct them in the first place? You probably sat there, what? Girl, shut up. When no, then now you don't need to hear from me. You shouldn't have listened to all of that.
Well, I used to. I ain't gonna say who, but I used to sit back and I used to listen. I used to hear, and I won't try to purposely listen, but I overheard one relative talking to another relative about me.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've had that happen too.
I'm just like, okay, and I mean, just gossiping.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff that have gotten back to me about how what certain people came said about me who visited our ministry. What is that? Okay, but I'm supposed to be loyal to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to I'm supposed to forget that because you're family. I forgive you, but am I supposed to really like ignore that?
No.
Right? Right? You see what I'm saying? I'm supposed to ignore that. Nah, man. You understand what I'm saying? Kick rocks. Them kind of people I run off. I will run you off on purpose. Cause I don't want you back here. I don't want some people I've told, listen, I love you, I forgive you, but I don't want anything else to do with you like that.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you ain't changed, baby. You think you just gonna come back in, you think you'll come back into my life and not apologize for the damage that you've caused. See, that's the thing too. Family don't feel like they gotta apologize.
Uh-huh. They just show up.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell wrong with y'all little family members to where y'all feel like y'all don't got to apologize. What is that? What kind of pride? And I've seen this in parents who have ruined their children's lives, or
Mm-hmm.
parents who have not raised their children right, or parents, whose children are bitter with them because they used to talk down to them and all this other
Mm-hmm.
stuff. See, children, that stuff leaves an imprint in a child.
It really does.
You understand? You got to be careful how you talk to a child. You understand what I'm saying? People think, oh, well, I'm your mom, I'm your daddy, so you're supposed to just get over it.
Mm-mm.
See, that kind of stuff is toxic. You understand what I'm saying? We need to talk one day about toxic parents
Yeah.
because, see, that kind of stuff is toxic, and then y'all feel like y'all don't, I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, so you have to respect me, and you have to still love me, and you still have to get over it, and all this other stuff. No, 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 no. You need to acknowledge your crappy parenting. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I tried the best that I could. That ain't good enough.
No.
Some of y'all need to
You done
acknowledge,
tried everything, but I'm sorry.
yeah, you ain't trying anything, but I'm sorry. And you can't change everything that you've done, but you can. I mean, some of you can make restitution in certain areas. Come on, it's the effort that counts. And then you want to know what they do?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying I'm sorry to you, they want to try to do with your children what they couldn't do with you, or they try to make it up with your children.
Mm-hmm.
So then they start spoiling grandbabies because they failed with you. Y'all are some trifling boogers. A lot of y'all parents, for real, because I've counseled a lot of people with these crappy
Yes, we
parents.
have.
We have counseled a
Absolutely.
lot of people, and y'all be hoodwinking your kids. Y'all be casting spells on your kids. You
Crazy.
make them think that they got to be loyal to you and all this other stuff. And y'all got y'all kids wrapped around your fingers. They still want you. So much to the places they still want your approval. They still want your approval and your love, even though you've done them the worst in life.
Terrible.
And I'm gonna say this to you: if you are a child, if you are a son or a daughter of a parent who have done a crappy job, okay, in parenting. You need to become whole as an individual.
Yes.
Listen to me. I know God created parental relationships, you know, and without them, they leave certain voids in our life. But see, first you got to become whole as a person. Okay,
Yes.
you don't need the approval of a person who raised you wrong.
No,
You don't need the
that's
approval.
a bond you don't have to
Yeah,
choose as an adult.
yeah. You don't need the approval of someone who did you dirty. You don't need the approval of someone who is supposed to raise you right but raised you wrong. You don't need the approval of such a one. I know you think you do. I know you think you do. And some parents they raise you to where they're all you know. They're all you
Mm-hmm.
know. Your mama trash, your daddy trash, but you will defend them because that's my mama. You know how stupid and ignorant you look. You understand what I'm saying? No, 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 no. You need to break away from all of that, become your own personal whole individual. No, don't hold no grudges, but I'm trying to get you to recognize this thing for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? That's all we're trying to get you to do. Recognize for what it is. Sometimes loyalty to family is the most toxic thing you can have in your life.
Mm.
Because first of all, they're the most opinionated and contribute the least.
Well, I think y'all got a lot to chew on this episode. Listen, tell us
Yeah.
down in the comments what you think. Be sure to follow us over on IG at King and Queen Blair. And until next time on the F3 podcast, goodbye.